And then we used to ask, we are building this as a product, would you be interested in buying it? Trust me, out of 100, you'll hear 98 no's. But the 2 yes were good enough for us, because that was helping us understand why people are interested in buying it and why other 98 said no, and we can build this, problem solving thing there. Hey guys, this is Ankit here, CEO and co-founder of MyOperator. Today's episode of Backstage with Millionaires, I'll be talking about how we bootstrapped MyOperator from an apartment to a business with 4,000 customers across the globe. I did my engineering from BIT Mesra. I'm a computer science engineer. 2005 when I joined in, I was pretty much clear that I wanted to be a scientist. I wasn't, I hadn't this thought of, being an entrepreneur back then. Over the year in the college, from science to more of a technology kind of thing, that's where my interest get into. And I heard this thing called entrepreneurship way back then, and I realized this is something I wanted to do. I didn't knew it, probably, but this is I'm more interested in. Had few friends, especially, one or two maybe, which was, inspiring me more around this, and we made a group kind of thing. We started entrepreneurship cell in the college. All that in the college was pushing me away from my grades, So I was really a 5-pointer in the college. In India, 5-pointer means, just above the average. You barely survived, kind of thing. It often came in mind, to drop out even, but the only reason I didn't drop out was I didn't want it to be a 12th pass, a 12th pass, In college, I was more focusing upon, learning solution side of the technology. Whenever I used to learn any technology, I'll always think about the line like how this will be useful for everybody, not businesses back then, but for everybody. I remember building up or setting up few experimental projects, like there was a P2P chat program that we developed in the college where we chat with each other. That was primarily with the need, because I didn't want it to be tracked by the college admin of what we are chatting. We had the rumor then that the college is tracking what everybody search on the internet. So P2P was a solution to prevent that. Those times, or those college was a platform where I could understand what I really wanted to do in my life. So I joined a startup, where I would be learning about the startup processes, the entrepreneurship and things. Moreover, starting up was my true aim. I was there for some time to learn how this process works. Learn from the process during the startup, the initial phase, and then probably because prior to that I was just out of college, and hence it was important to have some exposure in how things function. For me, having a company which actually where team or the employees would feel motivated every day would be a place. I didn't find that in my startup, and I decided to move along. When I came to Delhi, I had to rent a place to stay, and I started looking for an office place, and pretty much it was expensive all around. I had to start the office in the apartment I was living in. One room was kind of a bedroom. We both used to share the same room, and then rest of the 2 room and the hall was the office area. One was like meeting room, another was where teamwork, another was where we work, and kind of things were there. We used to sit in a round table kind of thing, which was actually the dining table we were sitting in, and work at the same place. Downsides, while hiring, you feel that as a lot of roadblock. People do not want to work from an apartment, especially if you want to hire somebody who's already worked in the industry for even a couple of years. You would be very hesitant to work from an apartment. But I still feel that was a good filtering criteria. For the people who were interested deeply into the idea and were believing us, were only getting on board. People who feel that they should be working in a comfortable area were getting filtered out anyway. I've seen a lot of people coming at the door and just seeing it as an apartment and just walking away. By saying, look, I do not work in this kind of atmosphere. I was expecting something else, and we said, okay, that's fine. That helped us gain initial set of people, who were really, believing in this idea. And, as a good side, I'm seeing most of the people who are working out of an apartment are still working with us, because they believed in the idea and they're still believing in today. They raised this whole business from an apartment to where we are now. So that's a matter of pride for all of us. My brother, joined me when I was still in the apartment. He just did his chartered accountant, exams, and he was planning to start a practice. Then when, I called him and said, look, would you be interested in joining this business as a co-founder? One of the key, for any business is a co-founder. You have to, while meeting people, you have to identify, if you have some co-founder, you can find some co-founder who is equally excited about this whole idea. Startup is generally not a years or a 2 years thing. It's a decade, if not a lifetime thing. So you have to get somebody along with you, who sail through the ups and downs of the whole journey. Sometime when you're low, he's there to motivate you. Sometime you don't know how certain things function. He's there to handle that. You have to start at a level ground with the co-founder. You have to give him, enough space in there, and you have to be open about, what you'd be sharing in terms of, stocks in the company and all. If it's a fair deal for both of you or, all the team members, then that kind of marriage gonna last longer. If it's, you're trying to act smart and force something on it, it won't work anyway. It will just break down in a certain months, if not a year. I did these mistakes myself. I was too arrogant to understand, all these integrities of the process. Hence, I could not probably find one, co-founder at the point of time. But, as we say in India, whatever happens for a good. Probably that thing happened for a good because I was able to find a co-founder, which is my brother. Both of us were totally focused on the growth. We still are. That's the core, that, we share the core values and we're different at our approaches. He's more of a operational guy, I'm more of a strategic guy. So that kind of, combination is as a boon for the company. Because again, before he came in, I wasn't able to manage the revenue or the cash flow. I was a techie, and from a techie perspective, you focus on a product, you focus on technology, you focus on what you can build, and you really do not focus on how this whole business will survive. And somebody from finance can easily tell you, you need, first thing is the finance, where the cash flow is coming in. That was the skill set he brought in. He, first question he probably asked me, was how do you expect money flowing in, and where do you, how do you expect that to scale up? We focused on few of the things which helped us manage the cash flow initially. One was start focusing on businesses' need more than building technology. We started selling to customer before this product was live. We had this technology, but to convert a technology into a product, that needs a total different ball game. So we had to start, we formed a sales team of, one me and then 2 salespeople. And we used to go, just on cold meetings, just meeting the business owners or whomsoever we can connect with the company. And then we used to ask, we are building this as a product. Would you be interested in buying it? Trust me, out of 100, you'll hear 98 no's. But the 2 yes were good enough for us, because that was helping us understand why people are interested in buying it and why other 98 said no, and we can build this, problem solving thing there. More importantly, the 2 were paying us, though in a discounted model, but they were paying us, which was giving us, okay, we're on the right track, because at least some customers is ready for buying it. We had 15 customers paying to us before the product was ready. That 15 customers is very important because one, they paid money, which proved us, look, this is the right problem we are solving. Second, how they're buying or what they're buying. And then, you can scale the sales process or, the delivery process before the even product is ready. You have to develop this in parallel. It was, really difficult to plan a sales across India with a bootstrap team of 10 people. We believed if we go by on-feed kind of sales process, that one would need a lot of money, second would need a lot of time. We went through the path which was very less travel then, and people didn't recommend, though. We started as an experiment. That's called inside sales. We said we won't be meeting customers directly in India, and we would be selling online over the phone or Skype or email without really meeting a customer. Back then, everybody used to question, this is really feasible or scalable in India? But probably that was the only option while bootstrapping. We cannot have an office every city in India or every place, but we wanted to scale, to selling in across India. So we focused on a lot of, quick demos, quick deliveries of the product, the whole automation of the system, functional DIY that customer would be able to try and test themselves without us needing in to do every bit of the task in there. We focused on something which we initially, even today, we call it one-click setup. The idea was letting businesses set up the whole system in just one click. This was one of the early differentiator from the market or the other competitors. When a small business, who do not understand technology comes to our website, he is able to set up a full-fledged telephony system in just one click. When you're selling a product without meeting customers, you have to focus on product more than the relationship. In India, sales is about relationship more. We decided how to prioritize the product more than the relationship. Only that is the way you will be able to sell the product without having a relationship built in the first place. Within 6 months of launching this product, we realized we were cash flow positive. That was the best time. I still remember we said, okay, might be we get funded or not, but this is scaling up. We are now moving ahead. So initial product which we launched in 2013 was the MVP. It was just a minimal viable product which we can understand what customer need. But after 6 months, when we realized, okay, this is happening, we decided to redesign the whole product from the scratch, thinking in mind that this is going to be huge now, and we have to design the whole product as if we are designing for the next 20 years. We did that. We officially launched the full-fledged product in 2015. So today, MyOperator is being used by almost 4,000 active customers. I'm talking about customers from across the globe. 20 countries we do have customers in. We have customers ranging from political parties to e-commerce companies, certain small tour and travel agency out there in the street, to education institutes, to NGOs, individuals doing businesses. And it's what we generally believe in any business. If they are serving the customer, they would need to manage calls, and hence they need MyOperator. Mostly people believe that bootstrapping means going slow, but that is not the case. Bootstrapping means finding out other ways to solve the problem when you do not have money. There are challenges in entrepreneurship anyway, and this just adds to another. I know having money will solve a lot of problems, but you actually can find out ways of solving that without having money. We had this very clear that we will not take this business on a slow path or a lifestyle business kind of model. We want growth. Even today we want growth. And how do we really attain this growth when we are limited by the money? So you focus on core problem solving more. You focus on what customer need, what customer want, how do we save money, how do we go low. Initially, apartment was again one way of keeping the cost low. And even today, when I see my thought process, or even the team's culture that's around how can we scale things without having a lot of spare money or keeping the cost low, that definitely often act as a roadblock. But that's what we all love about entrepreneurship: roadblocks. We find ways to overcome that. We find new challenges, and then how do we really overcome or solve those problems. We have been competing with few players who have been heavily funded in market, and we invested in product more so that when customer comes to us, we have certain values that we can charge more from them. We're not selling cheap into the market. It's not why we're surviving, or when you bootstrap, you have to sell in a cheaper price. It's never the case. We are actually at least 20 to 30% expensive than any other product in the market. But even then, when we investing in the product, customer would prefer, because if you see buying behavior across B2B to B2C player, people generally see if it's expensive, it's a quality thing. And if you're bringing in the quality and charging some extra, they won't mind. We use this as a philosophy. We always said, look, we are not here to sell cheap things. We're here to build quality. And quality, you charge more, that way you get a cash flow more and invest more on the product than anything else. When you run bootstrap, you ignore a lot of distracting or maybe not necessary expenses in the business. You exclude a lot of hype creation, but not really the core of the business expenses kind of thing. Initially, we used to regret a lot of such factors that probably media do not know us as they know the big players. Nobody's talking about us as they're talking about the big players. But eventually, now when I see and I'm at this current stage, I see it's in a better path now, because the foundation is solid, because we invested on the product, we invested in the process, we invested in automation, which is helping us scale faster, keeping the cost even low today. So I think Bootstrap is an amazing way. It's not just a downside of getting not invested. It's another way of scaling a business. You have to do it and find out yourself what are the ways, what are the directions you can design for yourself. And we did. Inside sales was one. We had to keep the cost low, and then we designed the inside sales process, which was, everybody believed that in India it do not happen. We did that. We are now one of the company in India which is actually selling to businesses without meeting the customer. There are more such integrities or such process in the business which we see we were able to develop when we were bootstrapping. So this was my journey of raising MyOperator while bootstrapping from an apartment till here. I hope you like this story, and please subscribe to this channel, Backstage with Millionaires. And if you have any comments or feedback, you can write on the comment section. I'll respond to them. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Perfect. That was great. You can just put that mic there. Wow. Well, I hope the party's not over yet.
No.
Still going?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a day-long thing. It's a New Year party.
Oh, seriously? That's awesome. We need to do the paper thing. Hey, do you have a piece of paper just lying around, like a white piece of printer paper?
A lot of,
just so we can get the white balance proper.
And also has your shot.
Oh yeah, we also need to take a quick shot for the thumbnail of you.
Sure.
Yeah. But we can turn on the light.